Hello, everybody. So it has been a hot moment since I've done a live on YouTube as well as on Patreon, and there's some reasons for that. Daisy, what are you doing? So this video is going to be Daisy stealing the show. Apparently, of course she is. There she goes for some noms. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat here. Happy 2022 for everybody who celebrates the Gregorian calendar, and we're going to talk about some overhauls and things that was going to be coming, changes for 2022, things I've been looking at, things I want to do, and there may be changes of a number of varieties as time goes on throughout the year too. And some of this is going to be Patreon, and some of this is actually going to affect YouTube. So that's why we're doing the live on YouTube as well. So first and foremost, I thought I would cover a little bit about why I don't really do YouTube anymore. I don't really do lives on YouTube anymore. And there's a number of reasons for it. The first is getting half an hour uninterrupted to do lives and things is very difficult. The other things is to do with environment, and then there's busyness. I have been, and I'm halfway through a priestess training course, a proper priestess training course in Glastonbury that takes years to complete. So I've been doing that on top of the store, on top of Patreon, which is my big love. I love Patreon, and I like putting the effort, energy, and time into that, and it creates a priestess cycle, which we're going to double down on Patreon as well. So we're going to talk about all of that Patreon goodness in a bit, but I want to talk about some of the things that have prevented me from doing YouTube a little bit more, and then what I have decided to do for YouTube. One thing. So the first thing about YouTube is the numbers have not been great. The numbers have been declining, and I can get 5,000 on a video on Instagram, and I might get 500 on YouTube. And it's just how YouTube is kind of stonewalled a lot of pagan creators. And I feel like maybe I just don't do well on YouTube. Like I don't fit a linear aesthetic, which sell well on YouTube. And because I feel false if everything I do is only on one kind of topic, I'm at odds with it. So that's the first reason. The second reason, I'm going to try and not lose my temper about this, but I might, because I was getting angry even as I was writing it down, is last year there was a lot of incel behavior towards me in public spheres. And I am not here as anybody's sexual gratification. I'm not here as a dating service. I'm not here to provide titillation to anybody on ever. The path that I have chosen to share is a spiritual one. It is a guidance of witchcraft and the spiritual journey, and more a priestess / witch journey now, because this is the evolution of it. And I share things about gods and goddesses and magic and prayer and meditation and theories of the universe and all of that that matters to me. And incel behavior is not welcome ever. And anybody who has displayed it has been blocked and will not hear a thing from me, because that's how much time it merits. And the kind of sexual inference that some people give to me and the harassment has been really, really ugly. And I refuse to put myself at risk. So that's been one of the major driving factors in where I've moved away from YouTube. I don't trust certain people's behavior on it, unfortunately. And Patreon then therefore becomes my safe space. It becomes somewhere that I can regulate and I can create on there. And every month is a goddess cycle, and I feel good about it. And I don't have to just be like receiving constant harassment. And I don't know about anybody else, but on YouTube, the religious discrimination has increased. The sort of threats from patriarchal religion, shall we say, has increased. Threats of being burnt alive and murdered and raped and all this stuff has increased on YouTube. And it's just, I don't need that in my life. I don't like it. And so I'm not going to put myself at risk. This all being said, I felt a little bit sad, a little bit guilty that I wasn't doing YouTube anymore. Oh yeah, you everything that I have created on YouTube will stay. I am not one of these people who's going to abandon. I'm not even going to abandon YouTube fully. I'm about to just cover that I've decided I'm going to do one major thing for YouTube every month, which will go. It might be live, it might be pre-recorded. I haven't decided yet, but what I'm going to do for YouTube, and everybody who's been following me for a very long time, maybe, you know, because I've been on YouTube for something like 15 years at this point, and I haven't seen the boon that a lot of people have, which disappoints me. Let's be real. I want to reach more people, and it's not happening. But what we're going to do is on YouTube for free is every month I'm going to do the Hedge Witch Zodiac Plant Ally. I'm going to change the name. Reading. So every month, so I'm going to be doing January very soon. I'm going to pull a plant oracle, and we're going to be using, the first time anyway, the Herb Crafters Tarot, this one, for each zodiac sign. And that fits in with my Hedge Witchery streamlining on Patreon as well. So if you're on Patreon, that you can watch this and it won't interfere with anything else, and you could probably really enjoy it. So, you know, I'll pull up a card from this one this time. Don't start that, Daisy, just because I'm on live. Come on. This is what we mean. Mummy can't do anything without you gluing the floor. Come on. So I'll pull a plant ally for Capricorn and one for Aquarius, and so on and so on and so on each month. And that plant ally then gives you something that you can connect with that month if you wish to. And you don't have to. You can just take it as a divinational reading about, you know, key points to look at, key energies to look at. Or you could be like, right, well, this month I'm going to connect more with time, because that is what I got in my reading. And maybe I'll include it in my food, or maybe I'll include it in my spellcraft, or something like that. And I'll give suggestions for each one. You are just being naughty. There's that tail. Look, that's that tail. Yeah, you have something to eat. Good girl. So that is what I really want to do for YouTube going forward, starting in 2022. Is the free zodiac reading for here on YouTube. And then that is going to feed into the streamlining for Patreon. So we're going to talk about what we're going to do there now and what's going to change there. So if you don't know, Patreon is my favorite place to be, and I've created a goddess-centered hedge witch priestess cycle. And I have been looking at it and listening to feedback that people would like it more streamlined, and people feel like sometimes they feel a little bit overwhelmed because I do so much work. Like, I do a lot more work than most people I know on Patreon, and so we're streamlining and making it easier and more accessible. So I may look at retiring some of the older information that is on Patreon, because I'm wondering if, like, because I've left the catalogue completely open, and I'm wondering whether or not that leaves people feeling like there's so much on Patreon that it has become overwhelming. So I might have a look at some of the oldest stuff, which is probably outdated now, because I think I've been on Patreon for about 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And so some of the oldest information can just go, because it's probably old, it's probably not as relevant to what we're doing now, and then it frees up space. So Patreon can sometimes be a bit difficult to navigate, which I can't do anything about. It's Patreon. There is a search bar, but still, you know, so maybe a little bit of clearing that up. If you don't know about Patreon, there's several tiers that I have. For the $1 tier, the first tier, you get quite a bit, really. Are we playing? All right, we'll play with the tissue. Go on then. Come on in, you naughty madam. Go on in. So the dollar tier is staying much the same. So if you want to sign up to the dollar tier, you actually get a fair bit. You're going to get access to the Discord group regardless of what tier you are on. So even if you're only on the $1 tier, you get access to the Discord group, and I never take you off. So if you need support, if you need to talk to people, that's what I want that to be. Sometimes it's busier than at other times. You know, people are still struggling with the pandemic and everything like that sometimes. So we have to be, you know, kind to everybody on there. It's and just, you know, check in with each other, and I try and check in with people. But you get unlimited access to that. You don't have to be an active member, as long as you are respectful and you're not harassing anybody, or, you know, stuff like that. You know, common sense rules, and not, and that's not a place to be selling on it either. I won't accept people trying to sell on my Discord. So the dollar tier is pretty much the same as it has always been, except for I'm moving the mood board up to the $5 tier, because the $1 tier has access to the Discord, and it has access to the full moon ritual. So you get access to the new moon ritual, not the full moon, which we're going to have one tonight. So tonight is going to be the Capricorn new moon, and we're going to be doing that deep earth, setting intentions, seeding into the earth together. And you are welcome to that on the dollar tier or above every month, unless illness or something happens that gets in the way. You know, human. Can't help it. What has that light done? Why am I suddenly like a glowworm? I haven't changed a thing. I hate the light in December. It's now January. No, that's worse. Yeah, I hate the light at this time of year. It really is awkward, and I don't have, you know, about there. All right, and so, you know, you'll have access to that. You'll also have the moon calendar. I put the moon calendar up for everybody, which is just a little added bonus, so you know what the moon phases are doing all month. And you get the astral report for the month, which it takes me a couple of hours to do the astral report. And I pull a card from the Orion tarot, which is, this is the Orion, and it's really friggin' beautiful. That should be this month's card. Yeah, so this month's card was the Six of Pentacles, and you will get, it's not the best example of this deck though, that's not a bad example from this deck. So it has these sorts of beautiful cards, and I use this every month for the astral report, and we go through the big astrology of the month and the cards, and we look at what to expect, what's happening in the heavens above the hedgerow, and how you can plan out around that. So then we've moved the mood board onto the $5 tier. Right. So the $5 tier, the major shifts in the $5 tier at least, are coming in the way that we're connecting to plant spirits. So what I was doing is every week we were connecting to a different spirit. And I felt like this is one of the ways, and maybe it was too broad, too much for it was too spread out, and people were feeling like it was jumping about too much. So what we're doing instead of that, we're connecting to one major plant spirit each month that I have picked, because I look at the moon phases, what the moons are in, so like the new moon and the full moon. I look at what cycle we're doing, what goddess cycle is the overarching theme. So it's going to be Angraboda on the January cycle, which starts tomorrow. And we'll look at the energies behind it. So the whole purpose of the cycle itself, overarching, is to connect to goddess, for me to priestess to you guys. So it brings rituals and spells and herbs and plant spirits and tree spirits and things of all that nature to your lives, and you can engage with as much or as little as you want, and the different tiers have as much or as little as you want. So the $5 tier is then changed. So instead of 4 different plants or whatever it is each week, we do the regular connection on the first week, which is a blog post as well as meditation, because I think it helps to have the written and the audio connection there. The second week is then goddess wisdom of that plant or tree, which can be folklore, wildcrafting, and general spell work. So information. I've also added a print off like herb sheet for the plant in question. We're going to do the yew tree for January. We've announced that already. So there's a print off sheet that goes out. You can print that off just with quick information. And then the first one is about connecting to the spirit, the meditation. And the second one is, right, where's the goddess wisdom? Right, taking it back to the goddess. Does this relate to the goddess herself? Or is it more about the energy overarching? Are we looking at it in a more abstract way? What's the folklore? How does the yew tree show up in the Nordic tradition, for example? And that's the second week. The third week is to deepen the relationship, and which is another meditation to meet goddess along the path of the yew tree. So we're looking at the combination of goddess energy and plant spirit energy in the third week. And then the fourth week is reflection, keywords, journal prompts, ideas going forward. And that is by no means the only things available to you on $5 tier, because $5 tier also gets a podcast, and I'm going to talk about how we're going to streamline the podcasts from now on, and a video, at least one video for the entire month. Although I tend to end up making more than one because I'm like, this is cool, let's do this. I'm trying to make sure it streamlines a bit better. But the podcasts there are 4 of them depending on what tier you're on. So there's a $5, $10, $25, and $50 and above. So the $5 tier gets the introduction to the goddess podcast every month. The $10 gets the meeting the goddess meditation. So the second podcast is not always just audio. Sometimes I put it on YouTube instead with like a moving graphic. So if you want to like watch a moving graphic while you're doing listening to the meditation that I've created for meeting that goddess, then you can do that. There's going to be a meeting the goddess meditation every single month for every single goddess, which I write, create, edit, put the music in, put the sound effects in, all myself. The $25 tier and above podcast is shadow work for the goddess who we're working with. So the shadow work tier is $25, and so that podcast is all to do with what we're actually looking at: themes, shadows, deep psychological work, and so on. And then the $50 tier and above, I should mention that as you go up, you get access to all the things beneath. So if you're on 50, you get access to all 4 podcasts. The $50 is Lesson of the Goddess. Key message: how to bring more of that into your life, i.e. how to walk the path, how to priestess it, or witch it, or magic it into your own life, whichever verbiage you prefer. Okay. So the $5 tier and above also gets the weekly card reading. So I do a tarot and a oracle card every single week, and to be honest, I'm not changing that because I love it. I love doing the tarot and oracle card and the little video with it. I may start just pre-recording it. I may look at doing it live. I might put what are they called? The online surveys where people pick which one they want, if they prefer it live or pre-recorded, because I love it. And sometimes I go off on interesting little tangents in those videos that I really enjoy. So we talked about balance in last week's tarot card video, and I went off on like this interesting little tangent with it, and actually I found that interesting as I was like grappling with energies and ideas that started from the tarot cards. So you can have a look at how to set your intentions for your week with that tarot card, and I will try and keep up doing the affirmation for the week as well. But the affirmation for the week tends to be public, and I tend to put it on Instagram as well, so you can have the affirmation to start the week. What energies, what intentions, how are we getting witchy that week? So moving on to the next dollar tier, and with the changes for that, it's the $10 tier is the moon tier. So we've moved up to full moon goodness under the hedge, and what that looks like. So we are crossing between, on that tier, full moon work, hedge work, and the goddess of the month. So you get a blog post and a podcast about what the moon is doing. Like, I've just put, what the heck is the astrology doing? Help. For the full moon. So that discusses some of the astrology and some of the things that might be coming up and how to witch through them for the full moons here and above. What they are also going to get from now on, which is going to be new, is the inner sacred grove meditation to meet the plant ally in your inner sacred grove. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's fine, you're not on Patreon. Because the inner sacred grove has been something that I have been, I just sort of came to a realization about it, and we are developing it, and it's one of the ongoing projects on Patreon that we are bringing out the inner sacred medicine and how we connect to plant spirits within our inner sacred grove. So that's what's inside of you, your magical inner sanctum, if you like. And the moon tier also gets the Moon Over the Hedge spell, which is the full moon spell work, in which I use the plant spirit, and it will be the one that we've chosen for the month now rather than changing about, to create a spell to assist. And that creates a combination between the full moon and it's say I forgot what the full moon's in for. Have I got my little? No, it's over there. That's a shame. I've got diaries all over the place from because my memory, but it's like full moon is in the plant spirit we are doing is you. To be honest, it's probably going to be like a protection thing this time around because I already have that feeling of that Angraboda big hag witch protection coming, so that's going to be that. So if then we're moving on to the $25 tier, as I mentioned, the shadow work tier. This is all to do with shadow work and under the goddess. So we priestess through about what we are looking at with regards to what is coming up for us all at this time, what the particular goddess has channeled through, and what that means. So Shadow of the Hedge is the plant or tree spirit of the month and how it relates to shadow work, and that is going to be a bonus video, and I'm going to absolutely make sure we do that every month, and that's basically looking at lessons. Now for you, for example, we can pull on the Ogham, the Celtic divinational rune for that particular tree, and it's very based in the European centric mythos, by the way, because that's my lineage. So we're going to be pulling like tree medicine and what the shadow side of that is and what that medicine has to teach us, and the guided meditation or oracling session. So the guided meditation or oracling session is either a audio version or a video version, and I basically oracle through, which is a skill that I have been taught through the priestess training in Avalon. So this is to do with, and I mean, I was doing it anyway because I knew how to channel goddess. It's a big part of my practice and who I am to channel goddess, and that's going to come through onto a video or an audio recording, and then you sort of listen and submerge yourself in that experience, and it's like being surrounded by questions and what the shadow is doing, and it can make you feel sorts of ways, and it's sitting in sacred space with me to feel through the shadows that this particular month is bringing up. And then a write-up or a video about how to deal with the shadow, how to heal from the shadow, with the shadow, what we're going to do to put that into practice. That may cross over with the Shadow of the Hedge, the plant ally, because the plant spirit is likely to come forward and go, right, this is the medicine, so this is what we need to know, and this is what we need to do, and this is what we need to look at, this is how we need to meditate, and these are the little changes we need to make in our life, whether they be physical changes, which is likely in Capricorn season, or if they're more in the astral, more etheric, which is more likely in Aquarius season, things of that nature. Depends on the balance between where the full moon is as well. I think it might be Pisces. I think the full moon might be Pisces. I think I've got that in my head. Right, so then we have big changes coming to the $50 tier or above, which is the course tier. So if you've been on that, you've had access to every single one of the Celtic calling courses so far. And that is now complete. We have now finished that cycle. And so those are going to be removed, and we're going to be going into a second cycle. So a number of things are coming up to do with courses on this tier. The Celtic Calling course as it is going away, and it is then going to be relaunched in February as a public course available to the public, a year-long course with some major changes and tweaks to the course overall. So that will go public. Hello. And the Celtic Calling course will have shifts. So if you don't know what the Celtic Calling course, it was each major Sabbat, we reclaimed a Celtic goddess. We reclaimed it from patriarchy. We reclaimed the Sabbat, who the goddess was around. Some of the Celtic goddesses people hadn't heard of. Tailchu is one for Lunasar. She's the ancient grain goddess of the Irish people. And oh my goodness, I enjoyed the Lunasar one so much with the ancient grain goddess, and reclaiming that as her festivities. And that's not to say we exclude others from it. That's not the tone of it. But it is, we're bringing back the ancient ones. We're bringing back the goddesses. We're bringing back the wisdom. We're bringing back the magic. So what the change for that is, come Imbolc, Celtic Calling will be changed a bit, and relaunched in so that the wheel of that goddess year will be available for a whole year package, and I'll look at putting installments plans up as well. And 3 new videos for each Sabbat will be added, especially around like creating an altar to each goddess and creating physical crafts for each goddess. There will be a guided meditation for every single goddess at Imbolc, at spring equinox, every Sabbat. And there will be a exclusive live ritual for each Sabbat for people on that course. Now, if you've already been on the $50 tier for the entirety of it, you've seen them all, or above, because above that tier also has access to it. You will have access to a discount code if you wish to redo it. And if you don't, because we're going to be continuing on to the second year of it, and you're like, that's way too much, Joe, I can't do anymore. I get it. Because we are going to be doing the second, which is the archetypes of the Wheel of the Year, of the Celtic Wheel of the Year. So, for example, the Path of the Hag is one. Path of the Lover is another. Path of the Lover is another. Making up silly songs. And we're also going to be taking it from a cosmological perspective. So we're going to be land of sky, land of sea, land of earth, land of land, realm of earth, realm of sea, realm of sky. There we go. Cosmological elements to it. And so the second year is available to everybody on the $50 tier and above, just for being part of Patreon. So the idea behind it is a deeper spiral understanding of witch practices from a Celtic witch perspective that deepens and takes the Sabbats in particular, and the archetypes to a completely different level. So the first year on that tier was like, here are the goddesses, here's some history, here's some mythology, here's some practices. And the second year of that, which you'll all have access to, is right. So as we move into Imbolc, we're going to be looking at the alchemist and how that relates to Bridget, and how that takes us to a deeper level. As we move into Andraste, who's one of my absolute favorites, is the archetype of the warrior, and it goes around the year, and I will be sharing pictures on Patreon soon so you guys can see what that's going to look like. I'm super excited for it. The spirals of the goddess that I have to present to you guys for that, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So you can sign up for the entire course if you want to in Imbolc, and for the new Celtic Calling with all that information, and you will receive all of the Celtic Callings that are no longer going to be available anywhere else. So if you know, they're going to be changed. You're going to have access to at least 3 new videos, a new guided meditation, and a ritual for each of the sabbats of the Celtic Calling. If you want to sign up and do the second year with the archetypes, you pop onto the $50 or above tier, and you can do that. I should also mention $25 tier and above get a reading every month. I forgot about that. You get a 30-minute reading, which you may not be able to get anywhere else soon. I'm toying with the idea of taking readings off anywhere except for Patreon because of the ongoing theft of stuff. And it's mainly Instagram right now, where people are cloning accounts and like sending messages to people and saying that they are you and would this person like to buy a reading. And it's a lie, it's a scam. And that's happening all over the place. So I don't really do a lot of readings anyway. It's not my primary position. I enjoy them, and to be honest, I think I'm good at them. I've had some pretty great feedback with my readings, but I feel like maybe that should just be a part of Patreon and nothing else because of the depth of it. So the $70 tier and above is the mystery box, witch box tier. So that's pretty much staying the same because you get 4 boxes at the cross points of the year. And I don't see a need to change that because you get physical goodies, and that it's pretty great. And I'm very giving with the mystery boxes. The mystery boxes are usually a mixture of things I buy specifically for you guys because I'm like, oh, that's cute, I think people will like that, and it fits with the theme. And then things that are made, starry-eyed supplies. Sometimes they're exclusives and you can't get them anywhere else either. So there's that. And then the $125 tier is the personal one-on-one consultation tier. You get far more of my time. You get 3, I believe it is, one-on-one sessions a month if you want them all. Some people prefer to do like one, and you know, over December, for example, I was very, very sick. So they weren't going, you know, and you have to bear in mind that I'm a human being, and sometimes I will be sick and sometimes I will not be able to do certain things. I try my best for people. I work damn hard for people. I'm glad you like the box. It was lovely. That's so lovely. I'm glad you do. Oh, I forgot to mention for the second year, for the $50 tier, I've assigned a deep Celtic practice to each. So healing, cleansing, keening, communication with spirits, for example, they are all going to be part of the archetype of the goddess for each one of for that course. The $50 tier is going to be popping because I am excited for it. People have actually also really enjoyed the walk and talk videos where I go walking in woodlands and do wildcrafting and things of that nature. So we're going to be doing more of that for a number of reasons. It's quieter when we do that. I can go out into nature, but I do say that, you know, a lot of the people that do these really aesthetic videos for like Yule time or whatever, and it's like snow-covered mountain, like it doesn't look like that out here. It looks like miserable wet Britain, and we're about a month behind in terms of where nature is right now. So it's not that cold out there at all. I'm feeling like we might get winter in about February at this rate. Feels like the cycles have changed. So I think that is all the changes that I wanted to mention for YouTube and why we're not doing much here on YouTube. I'm not going to go through that all again, but I think, you know, the $1 tier, the moon tier, the $5 tier, the $25 tier, $50 tier. The $50 tier is getting some gains. I'm just going to say, because it's going to be good. I'm really excited to do the Celtic Calling courses for you guys. Gosh, really? Wow. Okay. I don't know what's going on in the world right now. I really don't. So I I think that is it. We covered the zodiac thing. There may be bits on the tiers that I've forgotten because I do give so much value for money on there. Like, it's ridiculous. Like I've like Molly keeps saying, like, you give way too much. And you know, I probably do, but I love it, and it's a safe space for me. You know, you can't have any of that nonsense that I talked about earlier as one of the reasons that I'm not here on YouTube anymore, because I'm just sick of people's bullshit. And so, yeah, so you get a discount on the full course. I'm going to have to make a whole video about the courses, just for advertising purposes, but also to explain it a bit better. The other side of that is, if anybody is watching here and they're going like, oh, well, I bought 3 modules from the Celtic Calling course. Now, the full course will be different, because to be honest, I'm probably going to rewrite some of the stuff anyway. You will get all that. Like, each Sabbat had at least 75 pages worth of information, right, that I just emailed out, and then videos and meditations above. But as I was getting towards the end, I was getting progressively more finicky about how they looked, about what information was, more streamlined, more more pep. I wanted it to be good stuff. And so I probably will look at the Imog one for Bridget, for example, and be like, right, well, I want this to be better. Because I can tell you, like, I've already bought, if I can reach it. No, not that one. That one. I've already bought for Bridget. And so we're going to be, building altars as part of that new course. It's going to be really, it's going to be something. And I'm also doing it for me. Because if I don't enjoy it, if I'm not proud of it, then it's not going to go out there, because, Virgos. So I think that's it for updates. And we got there. We managed it. I was a bit worried I wasn't going to make this video, because, to be honest, I don't like being on YouTube anymore. I don't like certain people having access to me anymore. So there you go. So, beautiful people, thank you for showing up. I hope you had a very lovely new year. I know 2021 was a pretty rough year for most of us. I know it was not great in a lot of ways, a lot of death, a lot of pain, a lot of misery, a lot of bullshit from people, a lot of nastiness. It was not the best of years. There were highlights, of course. There were some good times, some good people. I would like to express my gratitude for a few people here at the end. Miss Lauren over there, you darling. I'll express my love and gratitude for you. She'll be embarrassed now. She'll be like, oh, God damn it, Joey. And for Lou, who I met through goddess training, and she's now just like a soul sister. I love her. And Victoria, who's my other soul sister, and Molly, who I love to pieces. I love them all. And there's other people, I have a number of cats out there in the world. Not just Daisy. I've got women named Cat out in the world. I've got at least 2 of them. And I love them to pieces. And Tamora, who is my sister and sticks by me. And these are women who have changed my life. And it has been women that have been really supportive and kind and generous with their time and advice, and it's been wonderful. And this year I got to feed foxes for my birthday. I got to go Viking axe throwing, and Lou wants me to go see her again, so we're probably going to go Viking axe throwing again. So that's really cool. And there's going to be some really good. Oh, and I was part of the Morrigan retreat online, and it looks like I'm going to be part of it in person next time around, so that's going to be fabulous. I will make a quick mention here, because I just realized that there probably are going to be mini courses too. Lauren knows about one of them, because she asked me to explain something, and I was like, so I'm writing a course. And if you're on the $50 tier or above, you will get access to the mini courses. So you will just get them for being there with me. When they are available, they will come out and you guys will have access to them. And if not, you can purchase them through the store. So I think that's about it, my darlings. Many blessings. Thank you for coming and joining me on live. I haven't done this for a really long time, so I'm impressed so many people like came and chatted. And many blessings. I'll talk to you all very soon.